Hello once again to all my wonderful patrons. Thank you so much for paying to see this stuff. Today's episode, we gotta do it like a PBS pledge drive. I'm not gonna lie, I started to watch some like vintage PBS pledge drives, and then I was like, you know what? Let's not taint this. Let's just rip it. So, I have not seen a current PBS pledge drive, but I have many fond memories of them as a child. So I'm definitely going to be basing it off of those ones. I don't know what a modern PBS pledge drive looks like. You probably just put in your credit card info and like send it on an app, right? I have no idea, but we're going 80s style today. I'm a little nervous because I don't know how I'm going to work the topic in, because I realized the topic of a pledge drive is the thing you're pledging for. So we'll see how it goes. True improv, babes. Anyway, let's get this thing started. I'm just going to tell you, I always thought it was the Sears Roebuck. Whoops. You know what? Let's start over. When I was a kid, I thought Sears Roebuck was Sears Robot. Is that even relevant? This is where the theme song goes. I just remember Sears Roebuck always sponsoring all the PBS things, so that may be a reference for nobody, but let's get this thing started, huh? I went to a burlesque show last night. My throat is shot. This is going to be amazing. You're listening to Fix My Car Cast, hosted by Bear Claw Billy, and this is episode 79. Comedian and musician Keith Hebert is standing by, waiting to take your call. But first, housekeeping. This is the show where you pick what I say and how I say it. Pick a topic or prompt by donating to the GoFundMe, and vote on the gimmick by joining my Patreon for just $1 a month. Join at the $5 or higher level and also get bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes footage. Links are in the description. Also down there, merch. Get yourself some merch. We do, in fact, sell Fix My Car Cast tote bags. You're going to want to get one of those tote bags. No new donors this week. The total raised for paying off my car repair debt is still holding at $1,501. Also, when we get to $2,000, we unlock an automatic show gimmick, which is I will watch all the Fast and Furious movies back to back and then record my podcast at the end. Fun fact, did you know that this whole podcast disappears when we hit $3,000? I hate to do it to you, but also, I don't. Hey, do you like the theme song? No? Well, if you make a donation of $50 or more, in addition to picking an episode topic, you get to change one thing about the theme song forever, unless somebody else changes it back. Want me to sing the ABCs? It would make no sense, but I'll do it. $50. No new patrons this week. Bummer. Now it's time for a topic suggestion. I'll suggest topics I think I could easily talk about for a whole episode, though admittedly, I think the show is more fun when it's something I'm completely clueless about. Sorry, my mic got rolled up in my cardigan. So, something I could talk about is disastrous date stories. Oh, you know I got 'em. Want to know more? Donate today. A reminder, my ambient album Ethologue is out on all kinds of streaming services, so please go check it out, leave a review, tell your friends, etc., etc. Check the links in the description and enjoy music. If you've never heard it before, it's a real hoot. Oh shit, I did that joke last week. I forgot to change it. No going back. Checking in on the best city in the world based on which city listened to the last episode the most. And none of this tie nonsense. We have us a full-on champion. I hope I changed this too. Our big winner, back in a big way, is Biddeford, Maine. Congratulations, Biddeford, Maine. Let it be known that your Clock Factory, Museum Go Round, and Castle of King Friday the 13th are the best in the world for 7 days. Last episode, I talked about Siaku while doing it like a Star Trek episode. You can see video of the adventures of Captain Billy Bearclaw, First Officer Beard McKimbo, Communications Officer Shringo, Pilot Helmer, Chief Security Officer Tapunch, and Chief Engineer Aussie on the USS Columbus, Ohio over on Patreon. Please note, the video version does not feature any post-production elements such as music, sound effects, or stamps the synthetic Australian. Also, head over to Patreon for a bonus episode where I talk about a sadly defunct podcast that's far, far better than this one, Improvised Star Trek. Okay, let's talk next week's gimmick poll. These are your choices for next week's episode gimmick, which I will confess are all fairly light on production needs because I will be rushing to catch a train immediately after recording. They are: do a Mo Howard voice, do a Larry Fine voice, do you see where this is going? Do a Curly Howard voice, and do a voice anyone born this century would recognize. Once again, that's number 1, do a Mo Howard. Number 2, do a Larry Fine. Number 3, do a Curly Howard. And apologies to Shemp. Number 4, do a voice anyone born this century would recognize. Also, Joe and Curly Joe. There are no returning gimmicks this time, but there will be soon. Remember that any gimmick that gets just a single vote is eligible for a second chance in 6 weeks. Be sure to vote over on Patreon. The poll closes Thursday, July 13th at noon Eastern America time. All right, time for today's gimmick, which is do it like a PBS pledge drive. Disclaimer: there is no actual phone number to call, and there are no actual gifts being given out to donors. While we're at it, there were no actual photon torpedoes last week, but I just want to get out ahead of any complications when I inevitably improvise some prize you'll receive if you call right now. Of course, gimmicks don't start until housekeeping is out of the way in case any of them prevent me from sharing vital information. But now, we are entering the Gimmick Zone. From this point on, gimmicks are active and everything is improvised. There's no sponsored topic for today's episode, so I'll take inspiration from a randomized Wikipedia page, which is... Thank you for joining us here again on the Fix My Carcast Pledge Drive. I'm Janice McGunt, and we hope you've been enjoying that 6-hour documentary on Lamirau, which you, of course, have learned so much about if you've been with us here today. A village in the northern part of the island of São Vicente, Cape Verde, situated in the hills east of the island capital, Mindelo, approximately 3 kilometers southeast of the city center and west of Monteverde. You may be surprised that we were able to make a 6-hour documentary about something whose Wikipedia page is once again a stub with all the information I just told you. But this is why we do what we do, folks. That's why Fix My Carcast is here for you. We dive deeper. We tell you about the interesting things that are out there in the world. And we also share with you great thought-provoking comedy from around the globe. And our goal here is to enrich lives, and that's what we do, but we can't do it without listeners like you. So we're asking you right now to go to those phones, give us a call, put a donation in. We want to remind you that there are lots of great, great prizes, none of which I will name right now because I don't want you to get confused about how real this offer actually is. But a real part of the offer is when you pledge to help Fix My Carcast, what you are getting is quality entertainment, and that is a prize in itself. Your donations help us make episodes. If you give money, you get to pick the topic of an entire episode of Fix My Carcast. Isn't that wonderful? And you get to know that you helped make that possible, and you get to bring this enrichment to the lives of everyone. We've been getting so many calls, the phones are ringing off the hook, and we're just so grateful that you're able to donate to us to make this show possible. And also, another perk, if you join the Patreon, you get to decide what the gimmick is. You know, it's such a simple it's such a simple concept. It's not complex. That's the opposite of simple. But what you're doing is topics and gimmicks coming together, and that's what makes this show so special. I honestly bust a gut when I hear Bear Claw Billy throwing out all those wacky ideas. Some of the things that Billy has had to do, you wouldn't believe. If you are new to Fix My Car Cast, we're going to show you some clips from the show just so you can get an idea of the kind of shenanigans that happen on Fix My Car Cast. So we're going to show you a little clip of an episode. And by the way, there's so many. There's almost 80 episodes of Fix My Car Cast, and up to 20 of them are gems. Like, for example, the episode where Stephen King stopped by the show. That's right, Stephen King, big supporter of the arts, and I'm sure he would give a lot of money to Fix My Car Cast if he ever came back. So we're going to play you a clip right now of that famous episode, whose title escapes me, but let me look at my clipboard right now. So here's an excerpt from episode 25 of Fix My Car Cast. Thank you for joining us, Stephen King. And even though I pride myself on the show being done in real time, I'm going to pause till I get my bearings here. So there's going to be a clip from that one. What a fantastic episode. Oh, every time I hear that, it just puts a big smile on my face. And that's also the debut of the character Stamps, the synthetic Australian, who had to fill in for Billy while they had COVID-19. I know, kind of a downer, but you know what? Billy is so dedicated to keeping the show going. Now, it's maybe a bit odd that the first clip that we shared with you doesn't actually feature Billy, but that's okay. Billy is all over this show, doing all kinds of bizarre things. Now, of course, if you've been watching for a while, what's bizarre about this show is that it's almost like Bear Claw Billy regenerates. Our most popular show that we don't make, but it comes to us. Billy regenerates often, and the show went through a major change at episode 30. Because the show used to be simply Bear Claw Billy walking to their place of employment. Just what a fun concept for a show. Bear Claw Billy just filling some time, walking to a job that didn't pay enough to survive. And so, once Bear Claw Billy got their car fixed, and it's worth noting that the titular car in Fix My Car Cast has been fixed, but the debt is still there, folks, and that's why we need you to call right now. You can talk to one of our many, many operators, all of them huge fans of Fix My Car Cast, and maybe you've even heard some of them on the show. So call right now, friends. But yeah, episode 30 is where everything changed. It moved to a weekly format. That's when the gimmicks got introduced. Those gimmicks that we know and love and we associate with the show today. Would you believe that the first 29 episodes didn't have gimmicks? Technically the 30th, the gimmick was walk to work, even though Billy didn't have to. It was a very hot day. I believe the hottest day on record. Can someone, Linda, can you get me some stats on that? That would be great. Thanks, Linda. So, let's play you another classic clip. I feel like this is, when I think Fix My Car Cast, I think of this episode. The second most popular episode of Fix My Car Cast is number 35, Mrs. Sponge the Musical. And you know we love to bring you great music here at Fix My Car Cast. So let's take a listen from Mrs. Sponge the Musical. I've got no sense of time of how long this episode is going to be because I have to keep stopping for the clips. It is nice to give my improv brain a chance to recharge, though. This is what you're paying for when you're a patron. You get to see me going, oh, how am I going to pull this off? What a catchy tune. Oh my gosh, I loved that. I've decided we're not back yet because I really killed my voice at that burlesque show. So as much as I pride myself on not editing, my voice is really shot. So these pauses for the clips are kind of helping me. Sorry, this is so gross. What a catchy song. Oh, folks, if you've never heard the full episode, Mrs. Sponge the Musical, you've got to check it out. Mrs. Sponge is such a character. She's a fan favorite here at Fix My Car Cast. All right, speaking of fan favorite characters, let's check out episode 42, which aired in October, and that's Count Hold on. Gil? Yeah. Sorry, my producer is telling me that we don't talk about episode 42 anymore. I'm not sure what's changed. I guess that's by request of Bear Claw Billy. Now, Bear Claw Billy runs the whole show, so whatever their wishes are, you know, we want to keep them happy, because I can't imagine this show without Bear Claw Billy, even though, you know, their talents aren't really that unique. Pretty much anyone could do this. But so let's move on to another classic episode. Boy, a lot of these feature that person we're not supposed to talk about. I gotta be real honest. Here's one. Now this one could use more listeners. It's kind of on the low end of things, but episode 57, another absolute classic. This is the one where Bear Claw Billy had to drink eggs and then talk about the experience. But get this, they translated it, the whole episode, into Japanese and then back to English. Took a lot of work making this episode. And that's why we need your donations, folks. Go to those phones. We want to keep Bear Claw Billy happy and healthy and sustained and able to keep making this great show for you. And so this is an excerpt from episode 57, The Egg Is In Me Now, which aired February 6th, 2023. It's a real hoot. Now, friends, that episode is just such a great example of all the work that goes into Fix My Car Cast. And here's the thing. When Bear Claw Billy is barely surviving, and real talk, Bear Claw Billy's been eating out of dumpsters for a bit, because that's this country. When Bear Claw Billy has more funds, Bear Claw Billy can get wilder and wilder with where things go on the show. So you're not just helping Billy, but you're also helping the show be better, because that episode, all Billy needed was a couple of eggs. And by the way, not just donations, but supporting the Patreon. When you support the Patreon, you get the behind the scenes on these things. When you go to Patreon, you can see a transcript of the original egg episode as recorded side by side with the translated version, so you can compare, and that's something you only get to see if you join the Bear Claw Billy Patreon. Now, for $1, you get to vote on what the gimmicks are, but if you give $5, you get to see all the behind the scenes on making Fix My Car Cast. And for $10, you get sneak peeks at upcoming things that Billy is working on, because Billy does more than just Fix My Car Cast. Billy is a real Renaissance human doing all kinds of creative things. But we're here talking about Fix My Car Cast, something we need to raise money for. Now, you know, as a Fix My Car Cast fan, that this show doesn't always appeal to everybody. And I can tell right now by looking at the download numbers, because there are some great episodes that no one has bothered to check out for some reason. I'm honestly afraid to tell you how low some of these numbers are, but Not this one. This one has had 6 downloads. That's appalling and nowhere near the average for this show. But this is episode 67, My Dearest Jezebellum. Now, if you're a fan of Fix My Carcast, you're probably also a fan of Ken Burns. And My Dearest Jezebellum is done in the style of a Civil War documentary. Let's give it a listen. What a fun episode. That aired April 17th, 2023. Friends, so I gotta tell you, the phones are ringing off the hook here, but somehow the numbers on the GoFundMe aren't going up. That's weird. It's almost like the phone number is fake or something. Anyway, friends, it's been such a delight to have you join us here for this pledge drive. We're in hour 17 now. Yeah, hour 17. I haven't had any sleep, but I've had a lot of coffee. So we want you to get to those phones, folks. And hey, you might hear someone from the Fix My Carcast show when you give us a call. So roll those dice. And who knows, you might get to hear from Mrs. Sponge herself. Or Okay, sorry, Gil. Lots of characters. This is a show with a lot of characters, because Bear Claw Billy does a lot of voices on the show. And, that's the appeal of it sometimes. Bear Claw Billy is always coming up with such interesting ideas where, they're putting their body on the line. They have to do a voice. There's some kind of gimmick that they have to do for the whole show that is preventing them from doing the show the way they normally would. Sometimes there are words they can't say. Sometimes they have to put in references to books or movies or musical artists, and they have to put that into the body of the show. And it's fun to listen to see if you can pick up on where those references are hidden. There's so much going on at any one time in any one episode of Fix My Carcast. You know what, folks? Gil just gave me the go-ahead. There's even a missing episode of Fix My Carcast. That's right. So that's an exclusive to this episode. The gimmick that week was for Billy to record the episode, but not upload it. Yeah, so it's never been released to the public before, but we really want to get your donations. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a 1-minute clip from the missing episode, episode 76, which aired on June 19th, 2023. If you go onto your podcast app, you will not hear this episode. It cuts off as soon as we get to the gimmick zone. But as a special treat, this episode can be heard on the Bear Claw Billy Patreon. We're going to play you 1 minute of that missing episode. Maybe you can guess what the gimmick is, because it's a secret, okay? So this is an excerpt from episode 76, the missing episode. Gil, where's my fucking coffee? Oh, hey, and we're back. So that was the missing episode of Fix My Carcast. Again, if you want to hear that full episode, you have to go onto the Bear Claw Billy Patreon, $5 level, and you can hear it. Friends, we are so appreciative for all of your donations. Everyone who's donated to the show. And we've had literally tens of people donate to the show. At last look, here we go. We've raised $1,501 for Fix My Carcast. But that's not the end. That's literally $1 over the halfway point. So there's miles to go before we're done with this. So please, 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 get out your wallets, get out your checkbooks, get out your debit cards. However you pay, PayPal, you can probably do that on GoFundMe. I probably should have known this before I started saying that, but we really, really need those donations, folks. We want to keep this show on the air for a long, long time, or until Billy isn't afraid of dying because of a lack of money. But we're not manipulating you folks. I know you might think that, but it's just we want your support. At the end of the day, it's about putting on a good show that will end when Billy is no longer racked with terror. Okay, maybe it's a little manipulative, but would you call a pledge drive on, oh, I don't know, just to pick a random example, PBS? Would you call that manipulative? No, they're bringing you Riverdance and Mr. Bean. Why wouldn't you shell out for that? It's not from a place of guilt. It's from a place of love and enjoyment and entertainment. And that's what Bear Claw Billy is bringing you every week on Fix My Carcast. Friends, I'm about to wrap up my shift here. We're gonna have Terry coming on after this. But, you know, my shift here is ending. I'm going to get some sleep because I need it real bad. My voice is starting to go. You can tell I've been talking for a while. But thank you so much. Want to keep those donations rolling in. Go to the GoFundMe. Go to the PayPal. Hell, if you want the tote bag, we'll put the link in the description. We will do that for you. Get yourself a Fix My Carcast tote bag. It's in the description. My name has been, I want to say Janice McGunt, and we've had such a great time with you here today at the Fix My Carcast Pledge Drive. As always, today's episode was brought to you by Zithromax. I love improv because shit just floats into your brain and then you're like, whoop, time to pull that out. This episode really hurt me. Let me explain the Zithromax thing. I went in my head thinking, like, what are some PBS shows? And then I got Sesame Street. And then I was like, how do they end Sesame Street? Today's episode is brought to you by a letter. And then I remembered there was a controversy back in the year I don't friggin' remember. But there was an episode of Sesame Street where they actually did have a sponsor, and people lost it. And I'm going to look this up right now. By the way, sorry I did not talk about Lemierao, because Jesus, this is the whole article. I'm getting so tired of the geography ones. I might have to start making it a regular rule. If we get a geography one that's literally just this is the name of a town and a place, and that's the whole article, I gotta skip those ones. Genuinely. Sorry. What was I telling you about? Zithromax. ADHD. It's a thing, and I probably have it. Probably autism, too. I'm gonna talk about that on the bonus episode, because I've had some pretty sure you're autistic moments in the last couple of weeks. But any hoops, Zithromax is, oh yeah, I was looking it up. Zithromax is a drug. And I hope I'm not like urban legending you here. I know I can sometimes be like Cliff Clavin from Cheers, a reference all the kids love. Azithromycin, its over-the-counter name was Zithromax. It's an antibiotic medication. Okay, so yeah, I just remember it was a medication that was actually being sold on Sesame Street. I have to look this up. I'm going to type Zithromax Sesame Street in. But this story is just burned in my brain because it was like a thing. As someone who just absolutely loved PBS. PBS saved my life, friends. I just had this conversation with a friend that I met a couple of days ago. I'm giving you so much more in this because I realized that it's so short because of all the clips. So guess what? At first I was like, oh, I'm telling you too much, but like, I'm not even at the 28-minute mark because there's going to be so much time for clips throughout the episode. Oh my God, friends, I found the video. So I remember this being super controversial because instead of Superman, Sesame Street being sponsored by, oh shit. My Bluetooth tried to connect. Okay, I'm not going to play this for you. I hate technology in a big way. That better not have just fucked up the episode. I'm not going to play the clip, but look it up. Pfizer, maker of Zithromax, they sponsored Sesame Street. This says this was from 2000 to 2002. And I remember reading, so there are corporate sponsors that pop up at the end of the episode. But what I read was, I did not actually see this myself. I was not watching Sesame Street in the year 2000. I think I was a teenager. I was like 14, 15. But this is true. Okay. Okay, there's an article about it on Slate. Disaster strikes on Sesame Street. At the end, the characters, I don't know who, probably Big Bird. I'm afraid to click through and I won't see it. Brought to you by the letter Z for zebra and of course Zithromax. And this was like, all hell broke loose. I'm gonna click through. Disaster strikes on Sesame Street to wonderful effect. Oh wait, I think this is about something else. Okay, I don't know who wrote this. Anyway, but yeah, Zithromax. I couldn't remember what the medication was for, but it was burned into my brain that it sponsored Sesame Street, and they had them sponsor it within the content of the show. What a behind the episode thing for you. The as always and jumping into my brain and then me being like, Zithromax! Oh, by the way, the show is not sponsored by Zithromax. Goodness me, oh my. Alright, friends, thanks for watching this. Sorry the video version is so much shorter, but you got a Zithromax story out of the deal, so I feel like I'm going to look that up, and maybe it'll come up again in the bonus episode. By the way, the bonus episode is going to be about Mork and Mindy. There you go. Enjoy that. Oh, wait, technically, if you can see this, it already dropped an hour ago. Why do I care? I don't know. That's me, friends. I care too hard. Love you all. Oh, and I hope you appreciated the Doctor Who shirt, because if you watched PBS in the 80s and 90s, it was Doctor Who all the time, baby. I'll save PBS reminiscing for the bonus episode. But good Lord, I love PBS. All right. Catch you somewhere.